And in our top business story, India and the UAE will set up a multi-billion-dollar fund to invest in Indian infrastructure projects, while also seeking ways to cooperate in the production of military equipment, space technology and nuclear energy. That's according to the Indian Foreign Secretary. At a press briefing organised by the Indian Consulate in Dubai, the Indian Foreign Secretary Subramaniam Jaishankar has announced that the UAE will invest $75 billion in developing various projects in India. He stated that the money will be distributed through the establishment of UAE India Infrastructure Investment Fund, which will support the building of railways, ports, roads, airports and other projects in India. Quoting the joint statement between both countries, the Foreign Secretary said that while India is eager to secure foreign capital and technology to develop its economy, the UAE wants to use overseas investments to diversify its asset base beyond oil. He stated that the UAE will also help India in developing its strategic petroleum reserves, in addition to its upstream and downstream petroleum sectors. During the press briefing, it was mentioned that both countries have decided to set up a target of increasing bilateral trade by 60% over the next 5 years and also pledged cooperation in developing and launching satellites. It was also revealed in the joint statement that both India and the UAE will facilitate the participation of Indian companies in the development of infrastructure in the UAE, while also promoting strategic partnerships in the energy sector.
Businessmen make business commitments, mostly to other businessmen. When you have a prime ministerial visit, what it does is it conveys our policy direction. Businesses respond to that policy direction. They either reflect their enthusiasm or show their unhappiness. So if you saw the business meeting, which was televised, I believe, most of it, you could see the sentiment in the room. And the sentiment in the room, like the sentiment which the joint statement seeks to capture, was a very positive business sentiment.
The inflation rate in the UAE edged up to 4.43% year-on-year last month as food and housing costs continue to rise. That's according to figures from the National Bureau of Statistics. Housing and utility costs, which account for over 39% of consumer expenses, jumped nearly 10% from a year earlier in July and rose 0.2% from the previous month. On a monthly basis, inflation rose 0.2%. Rents in Abu Dhabi and Dubai have been moving in different directions. In the capital, they have climbed by 10% on a year-on-year basis, which continues to filter into the consumer price index. Average rents in Dubai, however, continued to fall and were 3% lower in the second quarter, according to Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank. Food and soft drink prices, which account for nearly 14% of the basket, rose 3.4% year-on-year and 1.3% month-on-month. Wages in the construction sector rose by 17.4% in the 12 months to July, according to data from the Statistics Centre of Abu Dhabi. With inflation in the capital rising by approximately 5% in the 12 months to June, the Statistics Centre Abu Dhabi data suggests that real wage growth in the construction sector stood at about 12% last month. Construction sector employment accounts for just under a quarter of overall employment in the Emirate, according to this centre, while the Ministry of Labour estimates that construction accounts for about a third of overall employment nationwide. Last year, salaries in construction rose faster in percentage terms than salaries in the rest of the economy, with average salaries in the UAE growing by 6.2% in 2014, about half the pace of wage rises in the construction sector. Gulf Talent data shows that pay rises were the highest in construction in 2014. The company estimates that wages rose by 7.8% in that sector across the country, slower than the trend for Abu Dhabi. Monthly figures show wages rising for skilled trade people. Surveyors also saw the biggest increase in wages, rising 13.6% to 25 dirhams per hour in July, up from 22 dirhams per hour the previous month. Blacksmiths and carpenters' wages rose to 10 dirhams per hour in July, up from 9 dirhams per hour in June. Occupancy at Dubai's 4- and 5-star hotels were up 26% year-on-year in July to 57.6%. That's according to preliminary figures released by consultancy firm STR Global. The research firm noted that occupancy was below 50% until the end of Ramadan, after which it touched 70%. The average daily rate, however, was down 2.9% to 614 dirhams, while revenue per available room, an industry measure of rates and occupancies, increased by 22.4% to 353 dirhams. Hotel room supply rose 4.8% in July, while demand jumped 32%. Previously reported statistics released for June showed that occupancy was down 15.4% to 63%, while ADR dropped 8.6% to 592 dirhams 69, leading RevPAR to fall 22.7% to 373 dirhams 5, according to STR Global.